little bit of a berry medley, if there's a berry medley.
Like a tart?
Tart. Yeah, maybe a berry tart. That's actually a really good way to describe it. I know you're laughing at me because you're thinking you're an idiot. There's no berries in this nose, but there's definitely some berries in this nose.
No, maybe dingleberries. Welcome everyone to episode 86 of The Mashup, the best bourbon conversation you're going to hear all week long. We're your hosts, Anthony and Stephen. Hello, my good sir.
Hey, buddy. How you doing tonight?
Man, I've already had an evening.
Oh, yeah? Like, well, you say had an evening, like a good evening?
No.
Or? Oh, no. Okay.
All right. So my wife is going to her first conference.
Okay, like a
business conference.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. And so I'm going to try meeting her up there just for one night. Just to go up there for a little bit and then come back for a football game the next day.
Okay.
And so both of our cars need service.
Oh, I love that. Don't you love it? It's like the day before travel and all the engine lights and services. Everything needs to be done.
Yeah,
yes.
like,
Yeah, I love that.
Of course, we get the low air pressure on the tires.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, we need the oil change, rotate. So I've kind of let my car go a little bit. And this is my first time. I've probably haven't changed the oil now in like probably about 10,000 miles.
I can relate. I kind of let myself go a little bit.
Yeah, this is like the first time this happened. I think because it was just like I was working from home.
Yeah.
And I didn't really drive it that much. But now with the miles, just kind of crept up on it.
Okay.
So mine needs to get service and then hers needs to get service, right?
Yep.
So we're just going to do it all tomorrow. It's going to be fun.
So you're going to spend the entire day getting car service.
So my thought was, let me make an appointment and I'll make it for first thing in the morning.
Of course. It's the best way.
And, you use the drop box. You go late at night, you drop the car off, you put your keys in there, and you go home, and then they call you, and it's done.
It's done probably by like 8:30 too, because they're the first one of the day, and it's like they knock it out, right?
Oh, well, this is I think that my appointment's maybe at 7.
Okay. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe this is like before they actually open. I don't know.
Nice.
So we get there tonight, and it's only right after 7:30, and the property gates are shut.
Well, I'm sorry. I don't know why I'm laughing about that. That's not funny. So like shut, like as in you can't even get onto the lot?
No. It's not just like, it's not like just like the new car section is gated. Yeah. It is like the entrance to the place is gated.
They put like iron doors up all over. They're like, nobody's getting into this dealership.
And so my first thought was like, do I leave my car out here unattended on this dark road? Because, nothing bad can happen then, right?
It's always an option. You take your chances. Maybe collect some insurance money if something happens too.
So now, because of this, I'm going to have to get up.
Oh, God.
Super early.
After drinking bourbons.
Yeah. To go drop my car off tomorrow.
I don't want to be you.
No. What's the point of having a drop-off box if the gates close?
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. Did you call them at all? Were you trying to stand out there on the phone, trying to ring out?
Because the place was...
Oh, it's just black.
This is black, yeah.
I wonder if maybe somebody was roaming around and they're like, I've shut the gates and nobody can get in, but if they call me, I'll let them in.
Yeah, I don't know what the point of an after-hours drop-off box.
Yeah, no, that doesn't make any sense.
On the property after hours.
Yeah, have you ever done that before, though? Have you ever used the drop-off box?
Oh, yeah, all the time.
It's probably some rook that just got a job over there, and he's like, they told me they need it to be secure, so I'm going to make sure it's secure, and then people like you get screwed over because of it. That's terrible, man.
And it's supposed to rain in the morning, so it's another great.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
And then I gotta stay there until she drops off the kids to come pick me up.
Oh, goodness.
So this is not going to be a quick thing that I thought it was going to be.
I was going to ask if there's anything I could do to help, but now that you told me it's raining, I'm too worried about planning my outfit for tomorrow.
Oh, then. Well, if you want, you can come get me and just drop me back off.
Oh, yeah? What time would that be?
Well, I'll be there before 7.
Okay, we'll see. We'll see what's happening at 7 in the morning. Maybe I'll take you up on that. That's what friends are for.
Oh, yeah. So, Anthony, we had a new review this week, but it was our first one on Spotify. I wouldn't even known that we had the Spotify review if they hadn't DM'd us.
Yeah, that's the thing with Spotify. Like, I don't know. Do you know how to actually access reviews? We could just see that we have a 5-star review on Spotify, but I can't see it.
I have no idea if that's the one. Maybe I left like day one of our podcast.
Oh, you self-promoted?
Or that is someone else's. I can't tell.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing. Like, it's hard to tell on Spotify. Maybe if anybody's out there is listening and understands how that works, you got to tell us.
Yeah, shout out. She's a DM because I had.
Yeah, exactly. So this one came from Cat and the Copper Fox on Instagram, which is Catherine Martin. And she said, I had to message and let y'all know that y'all's podcast is one of the best we have found discussing bourbon. That's great. Said, gave it 5 stars on Spotify. We found the podcast because the Weller 12-year fell into our hands and we had to learn more about it.
Huh.
That's really cool. And that Weller 12,
you just follows people's hands, apparently.
And that's the thing. I bet you know what she did. She heard the episode, then she was like, I'm totally going to send that message and stick it to Steven.
She probably just went to like a gas station. They had it.
Yeah, like she's
I think I'll just grab this today.
Yeah, like, hey, what is this one? I never had this one before. And next thing you know, it's Weller 12, and that's a big deal. So we appreciate that review, and we appreciate you bringing our attention to that, and we appreciate that. We like to have that 5-star out there on a Spotify.
Yeah, and if anyone else has reviewed us on Spotify, please let us know.
Because we don't even know.
I have no idea how to even tell if anyone's reviewed us on Spotify.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
And if anyone else wants a shout out, just leave us a review on Apple Podcast or any other platform, and we'll give you a shout out next time we record. Anthony, tonight we have a new bottle that I have not tried before. We have a bottle of Lux Row Double Barrel Straight Bourbon Whiskey.
So this one comes to us from the Lux Row Distillers in Bardstown, Kentucky. The bottle date is 2021. The ABV is 59.2. The proof is 118.4. The age statement is 12-year age stated, even though we speculate that it might be more, but we'll talk about that here in a second. The mash bill is undisclosed, but it consists of corn, rye, and malted barley. The MSRP on this guy is, I've seen it everywhere for about $160. I think it's listed at $150, but then it's up to $200 in places. I think including the distillery. I think the distillery's got one of the higher prices on it.
Really?
I think it's $199 there. Yep.
Wow. Well, the bottle looks like a brick.
Massive glass brick.
Yeah, it's all it looks like.
With a little neck on it.
Yeah. I do have to say, their bottle topper is very refined.
Oh, yeah.
And I even think it looks machined.
It does. It almost looks like I don't know, like it's out of like the 1980s, like a rock band.
So it's goldish brass looking, and it has Lux Row Distillers, family owned and operated, and it's got these grooves on the side that you can get to it. And it's encasing a real cork.
Yep.
And it's weighted. It feels really nice.
Absolutely.
There is one thing on this bottle that we have not come across that much.
What would that be?
This bottle has a punt.
Oh yeah, you noticed that.
Yeah.
The funny thing about this is, so we're looking at this bottle before we record this episode, and Steven picks it up. And he's like, "What the heck is this?" So it has this indentation in the bottom, and he tells me, "Go look up. What is that?" And I'm like, "That's not anything, man.
Because it's
Don't
on
worry
wine
about it."
bottles.
Yeah. He said it's on wine bottles. He's like, "Look it up," and I'm like. I'm sitting here, I'm like, this isn't anything. I'm like, what the heck? And so we go into I start Googling, and a punt is actually that recessed area at the bottom of a bottle.
Yep.
And we found out the reason that it's there is so it can help you pour the wine bottle. The sommelier.
The sommelier can help.
Ooh, very sophisticated.
Can help pour, can hold it from the bottom and do it one-handed at the table.
Yeah. So it's got a practical use, and you think that maybe they're thinking this is the way they wanted that bourbon poured, like by the bourbon sommelier.
This bottle weighs more than a wine bottle.
It does,
This is some thick glass.
If you're going to hold this with one hand and pour it, you better work out a little bit more than I do, because I wouldn't be able to probably do that.
Yeah, it's a big punt. It's not like a little like thimble size.
Yeah.
This thing is taking up the entire bottom part of it.
You could stick half of your fingers in there if you wanted to. It's crazy.
On the back, it kind of reminds, if you're looking at the back, it kind of reminds me of the Woodinville bottle, just by the font, and that it's just a simple sticker on the back.
That's actually a really good point.
And the shape of it.
The color, too, I think.
Yeah.
Was it Woodinville, like black
it's got
and
that
golden tannish?
But it's got this picture, though, on the back of it, which is very attractive. I assume it's the distillery / welcome center / property. But it's got what looks like to be a silo on the left side.
Okay.
So we can store our corn there.
Yeah.
And then the main part of it looks like one of those Gatlinburg cabins hanging off the hill with all the glass. And
you love some Gatlinburg.
But it's very attractive, the back, the sticker, and I guess the location of it.
I like the front because the front has those really nice gold accents highlighted, and it says 40004 right at the top above Lux Row Distillers. And do you know what that is for?
I think those are the numbers they had to keep on typing in on Lost, right? No, it's not.
It's not. That's a good guess.
Okay.
But actually, if you go above the actual Lux Row, this big sort of metal, it's not even metal, it's probably plastic that they have in Boston stuck on the bottle. It says 40004 again, and that's the zip code of Bardstown, Kentucky.
Boom.
And that's where they, of course, are barreling and bottling this product. And so the other thing that I want to note real quick on the front of this is it says double barrel aged 12 years, but the age since and barrel numbers for each barrel are 1/14/2008 and 2/6/2008. I'm pretty sure I got this in 21. So if we do simple math, that's probably a 14. Is that 14 or 13? Somewhere in there. I can't really count, but it's definitely more than 12 years.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting thing, and I do have a story about that here.
Can't wait to hear it in the future.
Yeah, it's going to be great. So, do you know anything about Lux Row Distillers?
No, I just know the name, and that is about it.
Well, it actually has a very storied history, and one that actually crosses with Julian Van Winkle.
Oh.
I don't know why every time I say Julian Van Winkle, I have to say it like that. I know in past.
Is that the way he talks?
No, it has nothing to do with it. It just sounds fun to say it like that. It's almost like a weird, I don't know, leprechaun thing or something. But anyway, the parent of Lux Row Distillers is actually Luxco, right?
Okay.
And so Luxco was founded in 1958. It wasn't originally called Luxco. It was actually called the David Sherman Corporation.
Oh, David Sherman.
Yeah, but David Sherman...
is that one person or two names?
That's one of those things where you could be... It's one person. Yeah, it's one person. But David Sherman and Paul A. Lux were actually the original proprietors of this company, which is why they changed the name to Luxco in 2006. But the Lux Row Distillery actually opened its doors in 2018, and it seems like they were actually making whiskey around 2015. So you know Blood Oath?
Yeah.
Yeah, Blood Oath was, I think, other than some of their standard brands, which we can talk about here in a second, I think Blood Oath was one of their first premium products, and that came out around 2015.
That number one?
Yeah, Blood Oath Pact 1 came out in 2015, which that goes for a pretty penny these days. Real quickly, the other recent history here that's kind of important to this discussion we're having today about this bottle is just last year, the MGP Ingredients, our favorite place in Indiana that we've tasted a lot of bourbon from. They actually announced the purchase of Luxco, and I don't
really.
Yeah, I still really don't even understand this, but they called it a purchase, like that MGP was going to buy them. But it almost seems like they merged, and Luxco is actually like because they do distribution and all kinds of other stuff like the parent company does.
Talking about Luxco?
Luxco. Okay. Yeah, I know it's so dang confusing with Lux Row and Luxco. Couldn't they have named it something different? Come on.
It's like Pepsi and Pepsi Cola.
That can't. So Luxco actually oversees the MGP in-house bourbon brands now. And so you know how we always say MGP and it continues to be MGP. It's not incorrect to say that. But they actually renamed the MGP distillery to Ross and Squibb. So
what?
I made a joke about Ross and Squibb previously. That's actually the actual name of the old Seagram's distillery now, and that's due to this parent company, Luxco. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you go to their website and look at their mission and goals and all this stuff, it gets even more complicated than that. It's we will work for you to distribute your alcohol. It's just really weird. It's really in your face, and it's all over the place. And so even though this company has a lot of history, I was trying to educate myself about it, and I just got wickedly confused.
It sounds like you went down a rabbit hole.
Yeah, I did.
It had different paths, and it intersected, and it went back up.
It did, and then the funny thing is in all this banter that I'm talking about, which it's connected. I know that it's factually accurate and inaccurate at the same time. Where Julian Van Winkle comes into play is...
So now we're going to get across that path.
Why not come back to it?
I don't know if I'm any smarter than I started.
Come on, let's just... But I have to mention this real quick. So I guess the original roots of Luxco starts with the Dave Nicholson brand. And Dave Nicholson was like a dude in St. Louis that had a grocery store, but he also sold whiskey out of the grocery store. And I don't know how this happened, but Dave Nicholson...
How long ago was that?
1843.
So that's nothing like... There's not like a mom and pop that sells their own whiskey today.
I don't think so.
That'd be awesome find though.
That would be a really good find. I mean, that's probably like the equivalent of like taking some moonshine and aging it, right?
Yeah.
So I gotta tie the story up, man. This is getting really long winded over here. So apparently the Nicholson brand, however or whatever happened, Weller and Van Winkle started distilling in 1893. So it's almost like it was transferred over to the Stitzel Weller parent, you know, however that worked. And then in 2000, Luxco actually bought Dave Nicholson brand back from the Van Winkle family. So that's a interesting thing that has nothing to do with this bottle in front of us, but it's still kind of, you know, maybe we should try some Dave Nicholson because apparently that's the other weeded bourbon we've never talked about that's under the Luxco parent.
Let's go for it.
Yeah, maybe we'll have to do that in the future.
That is a confusing story.
It's really confusing, and I guess I could have done a better job of telling.
No, it's not even you. I just like it's like these paths cross, and
yeah, sometimes
the
it doesn't
names
always
are confusing.
work out. Yeah,
so,
not at all.
Well, should we go for our first notes?
Sure.
It's definitely grippy as far as ethanol goes.
Yeah, it's kind of sticking to the side of the nose in terms of it's hard to get your schnoz away there in the glass. It kind of
hits you.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm getting like actually some interesting notes here on the nose. So one is a faint caramel.
Yeah.
Actually getting some berries, which is odd. A little bit of a berry medley, if there's a berry medley.
Like a tart?
Tart. Yeah, maybe a berry tart. That's actually a really good way to describe it. I know you're laughing at me because you're thinking you're an idiot. There's no berries in this nose, but there's definitely some berries in this nose.
No, maybe dingleberries. You know, weirdly enough, I feel like I'm smelling a peanut butter sandwich.
There, you know what? That might be what it is. Maybe it's peanut butter jelly. It's peanut butter jelly time. Here we go.
Like I can smell the bread and like peanut butter.
No, that's actually pretty accurate. So maybe some marzipans. Is that marzipans and peanut butters?
It'd be great if it was a good combo.
There you go.
I'm getting some oak.
Yeah,
and some char from it. I guess you're supposed to because it is a double barreled.
Yeah. And I think that the oak is actually presenting as a little bit, I don't want to get in the habit of calling it tannic, but it's sharp. It's a sharp oak.
It just hit me, Anthony, what this product is. This is a double barrel aged, which I don't think it's the same thing as what we're used to with like Woodford's double barrel product.
So actually, I think that it's confusing and rightfully so. It says double barreled on it, but I think what they're actually doing here is just taking two single barrels and blending them.
They have the serial numbers and the age of them on it. Mm-hmm. So this is not really like your standard like doubled oaked thing. This is more of an very limited, ultra aged.
Yeah.
Very small batch bourbon.
Yeah, and I was trying to think of a better way to say that. What would you call like if you call it double single barrel? That wouldn't make any sense, would it?
I was trying to pull my my inner Woodford Reserve ultra rare.
Yeah,
that number 16 bottle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very very ultra, very fine, very very double barreled.
So this is basically like a 2-barrel batch.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. That's the way I understand it. If I'm wrong about that, then I hope that Luxco calls us or Lux Row calls us and says, hey, not only are you wrong about it, but we'd like to send you some free bourbon. That would be nice.
Yeah, here's our whole catalog.
There you go.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So the funny thing I was going to bring up as you were talking about the confusing nature of the double barrel statement on the front, the other thing that's been really confusing lately to people is the fact that when they're buying this, like this year's batch of this that came out like at retail and the gift shop and stuff like that, I have one from this year, and the barrels are from 06 and 07. And so 06, 07, and it's bottled in 22. What's going on here? And so I saw a Facebook.
The math is not working out.
The math is not working out for it to be 12 years, right?
Right.
And so I saw a Facebook post. I wish I remember what group it was. I wouldn't have given credit to anybody that said anything anyway. But basically, these guys are going back and forth, and people are like, there's no way this is almost 16-year-old stuff. And then people are like, yes, it is. And then people are like, well, no, why wouldn't Lux Row capitalize and make it say 16-year age statement on it? And then somebody finally came out and said the age statement is just the youngest juice in the bottle.
That's true.
So, maybe they, do you think they took like a dropper and put like one drop of 12-year-old in there with it?
Are you accusing them of saving money and keeping the same label?
I might be, but that's funny. The best part about it is that's where the discussion went. Oh, yeah. So somebody finally jumped in and said, no, I think they just didn't want to file for a new TTB label because that costs money.
Yeah.
And so they're using this same label. So if you see these out there and they're the newer ones and they have those older barrels, then they're probably older juice in them.
There is one more note I want to talk about before we move on.
Sounds good.
I am getting a very medicine-y smell out of this. Vicks Vapor Rub, menthol out of this.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know if I would describe it in the exact same way, but I think that's rye spice, actually.
Is that the rye spice?
And I think it's just taken on a really medicinal quality and saying that, you can get mint from rye, but if you're getting menthol, then you're getting, the mixture, I think, of the mint and the rye, and it's drawing you up a little bit.
Should we go for our first taste?
Wow. It's definitely got some punch to it.
Light you up.
Yeah, nice. It's not for the faint of heart.
No.
Instantly getting some really spiciness right in the front, some cinnamon.
Yes, I agree. You think it's a high rye or you think it's low rye, Bill?
I don't know, because it says that, it doesn't, there's not disclosed. And right. I will just come out and tell you this as we're tasting it. Now I'll say it because I didn't want to say it before because I didn't want to color you were thinking on this, but there's rumor that these are actually Heaven Hill barrels.
Really?
Yeah, so if they're Heaven Hill barrels, or that's what the rumor is, and again, there's an NDA signed. We're not saying it's Heaven Hill. We're not claiming to know that, but I think that with that in mind, think about Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. Think about other things that you've tasted while you're tasting this now.
As a sipper with this much explosion, are you enjoying it?
It is coming off a little hot to me.
Yeah.
And full disclosure, I have had a bottle of this, right the first year it came out, 2018. I grabbed a bottle of it and I thought it was delicious, but I remember it being a little bit thicker, more caramel bomb kind of thing. This is coming off as a little bit almost a little medicinal cherry. And then also the faint oak, and I definitely think you're onto something with that peanut butter sandwich, because I think I'm picking up a lot of that peanut butter note too. It's kind of all over the place. I'm not going to lie. It's a pretty complex whiskey.
Well, speaking of thicker, this thing is definitely leggy on the glass.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think that legginess doesn't necessarily translate, though. I think there's stuff that I've just felt more viscous to me when we're sipping it. This just kind of has a medium mouthfeel. It's not thin by any means, but it's also not like that almost syrupy thickness or that way that it coats your mouth where you can taste it for a long time. Kind of got a little of that burn. Picking out anything else?
No. Surprised. Everything you said I've got, but besides that, things just light up my mouth.
So too much burn for you?
Yeah, and I don't know if there's honestly, I don't know how much I'm enjoying actually sipping it.
I got you.
Yeah, it's just, I think the burning or the ethanol is just kind of covering up all the other notes that I probably would enjoy.
Yeah, it's definitely for a higher age bourbon. I'm kind of shocked at how
little.
Yeah, little. I think that oak has become almost astringent to a point where it's too sharp.
Yes,
draws you up too much. Yeah, it's very sharp.
That's the way it hits your mouth. Is sharp.
Yeah, it's definitely. What other things were you saying that you smelled when we were coming toward the end? You were saying something about medicinal, but you had an analogy there that I want you to bring back up.
Yeah, it also kind of smelled like nail polish remover or nail polish.
Yeah,
and it's almost like you're nosing it, and it's like when you're trapped in the car and someone is
that's my wife. She's always like, "Hey, you mind if I do my nails?" No, I don't mind.
Yeah, I do.
Oh gosh, jeez.
And then the slingers.
Yeah, absolutely.
It kind of has that going for it as well.
Yeah, which is strange. The other thing that I do taste, and the more I taste this, which is odd and again puzzling to me, is it almost has like the flavor of a cognac, where it's a little bit sugary, but it's very boozy. You know what I mean? And most cognacs that are well aged aren't going to be like, and this is not a finished product, but it comes off a little bit like it's a finished product, which is really interesting.
And the boozy part?
Yeah, the boozy part just sort of, I don't know. You don't usually have cognac, I would say, at that high of proof. And so that's like, it's interesting. It's very interesting. Got the berries and cognac kind of going on. It's, I don't know. I got a feeling that we're going to differ a lot on this one.
Well, Anthony, without further ado, would you pass, try, or buy on the Lux Row Double Barrel Straight Bourbon Whiskey?
Oh, si, senor. I've been looking forward to this one for a long time. I've actually wanted to review this on the show and see what you thought of it for a long time. And so...
It's your lucky day.
It's my lucky day. I think this one's tough for me because what I think has happened with this product, having had it before and now having this for the second time and it being a different set of barrels, is that what you're getting is going to be highly contingent on whatever 2 barrels they're putting in there. And when something costs $160 to $200, I think that could be a big gamble. And right. I think this sort of signifies that. So I'm going to put this in the solid try category just because I like it. It's complex. I'd like to put some water in it. I'd like to maybe put it over an ice ball. I like to taste it in different ways because it seems like it has a lot of potential. And I do like some of the notes I'm getting like that. I'm still like kind of smacking my lips a little bit of tobacco, a little bit of cherry, a little bit of stuff that I normally like. But that sharp oak and that initial ethanol that you talked about, that makes it a tough one for me to $160, I think, you know?
Is there a like a series number, or if someone else was thinking about getting this and they wanted to get kind of the same bottle, is this like...
I don't really think there's any way to get that one unless you find those barrels.
I don't
even think they have a like a laser code.
A single barrel experience almost.
Yeah, I don't think they have a laser code on their bottles at all.
Okay,
well, so you got to put a little tag around the neck.
It's so hard.
It says when it was distilled. I hate that.
And it's also hard to like.
I hate the neck tags.
Rate this when it's like almost like a single barrel experience.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think I'm gonna be a pass.
Oh,
but yeah. I think just from like each section we've done with this bottle, I've like not completely enjoyed it.
Okay.
Or it's been like hot or ethanol-y, or I hadn't gained much out of it, and with it costing as much as it does.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's plenty of other products that are less than. Are there any other like double barrel products like this?
I don't know. I think this is kind of a unique thing. Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of single barrel products, but
yeah.
You know, even though this is kind of the same thing, it's kind of interesting because it does involve an element of blending or getting to a flavor profile. And the other thing is the 118.4 proof. They call that cask strength, but every single batch they put out stays at 118 because they want to commemorate their 2018 opening. That's how that's tied in.
Okay.
And so even though you have different barrels, they don't ever vary in proof.
You know, that's interesting because
they standardize that. That means they add water or whatever.
What does BTAC do? They change their proof every single bottle every single year.
Yeah, but they're blending like Stag is blended from massive amount of barrels and stuff like that. But you're saying they blend to a profile and a taste,
right?
And they should do the same thing,
and
especially with
like,
2 barrels.
They're almost like just blindingly like saying, "Oh, it's going to be 118. I don't care what it is."
Well, I would hope that they're taking a little bit more of the care than that.
Well, I guess they can only barrel from 118.0 to 118.9.
Well, I mean,
to keep that 118,
but they got to be adding water. Even if they say it's cask strength, they got to be adding water.
Oh, right,
yeah, they have to. So
yeah,
they're probably looking stuff that's just hotter than that, and then bringing it down with water, and that's why it'd be interesting to potentially have some water in this and try it.
Yeah, but I'm just wondering, like, well, this would be at like 108 or 111.
Well, the other product that they have, you know, another product in their portfolio is the Old Ezra, the 7-year Old Ezra.
Yeah.
And that comes in at a pretty hefty proof, but I've heard people say that they like that as well. I may have had one bottle of it back in the day.
I had the same here. I think I had the 7 way back. I don't remember anything about it.
I thought it was pretty good, but I'm just saying, like, they do put out other products. They just come out with an Old Ezra Rye that aren't necessarily under this umbrella. The Rebel Yell and the Rebel Yell 10-year fall under their umbrella. So they put out a lot of different bourbon, and I think that this one is interesting. You know, as we're talking about this, I'm thinking about the fact that even though we're going into the winter, and that's typically the months where I consume more bourbon than less, I was also wondering, sir, because I haven't talked to you about this in a while, what is your favorite beverage to be consuming lately, alcoholic or non-alcoholic? Just what are you reaching for when you're not reaching for bourbon?
It's kind of funny. I don't think I've reached for much bourbon the past couple weeks. I don't know why. I've been way upping my protein shakes.
There you have it.
They're virgin.
I noticed your arms were a little bit thicker. You should see this guy. He's hulking out over here on them protein shakes. Yeah, it's funny. See, now you're making me feel bad because you're being all healthy. For me, I've been getting back into beer again lately. Different kind of stouts, different IPAs, things like that.
I did have one of those KBS espresso beers the other night.
Oh, nice. See, there you go.
Nice.
Once I start telling you and I'm prompting you, now I'm figuring out that it isn't just the protein shakes. You're also indulging in the beers.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that.
And with that, thanks for listening to this week's edition. Please like and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at The Mashup KY. Also, let us know your thoughts and follow in the comment section. Until next time, keep it neat.